Hey, welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
Mandio.
We are KAMMA, and we're about to talk about UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia. Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. And we're going to talk about our early predictions for the main card. So, looking at the main card here, we're going to go through it quickly. We got Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir, Mohamed Nemov versus Felipe Lima, Kelvin Gastelum versus Daniel Rodriguez, Sergey Pavlovich against Alexander Volkov, and Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Pretty interesting main card here. I like these fighters. It's going to be pretty cool. We'll start it off now with the main card. The first fight of the main card. We got Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. I'll start it off in this one as usual. So I got Johnny Walker to win in this one, man. I like Johnny Walker. The guy is going to have a massive 4-inch height advantage at 6'6", Ozdemir at 6'2", and not to mention a 7.3 reach advantage for Johnny Walker. That reach advantage is massive, okay? Massive, 7.3 reach advantage. I think Johnny Walker is a more talented fighter here. If we look at Volkan Ozdemir, man, he lost 3 of his last 5 fights. Walker only lost 1. Yeah, Walker's more athletic. He's just, I think he's stronger. He's got different ways to win too. You know, out of his 21 wins, we could see here that let's just take a look quickly here what he has here, Johnny Walker, out of his 21 wins. 16 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 2 decisions. The knockout is live. If we look at his last fights too, man, like I said, he's been doing well lately. Definitely like that about him compared to Ozdemir. Last fight he lost was to Magomed Ankalaev. We cannot call, no shame in that. Magomed Ankalaev is amazing. And that was the rematch from the accidental illegal knee that they had in the fight before that, when there was a no contest. Prior to that, he beat Anthony Smith, who we've seen lately has been doing really good. He won a unanimous decision against Anthony Smith. He knocked out Paul Craig. And he also subbed Jan Kutelaba. Now, on Volkan Ozdemir's side, the last fight he won was against Bogdan Guskov. He subbed him, but he lost to Nikita Krylov. He did beat Paul Craig by decision. So mutual guys that they both fought Paul Craig. Johnny Walker knocked his ass out. Volkan only got a unanimous decision. So, you know, I know the MMA math, but I like that Johnny Walker was able to finish him, whereas Ozdemir could not. Then he lost to Magomed Ankalaev, another guy that they both lost to. And then he lost to Yuri Prochaska. He got knocked out by him as well. So I like the threat of the knockout for Johnny Walker. I think he's actually going to get a knockout in this one. I just think he's just the more explosive fighter, the more athletic fighter. You just don't know what he's going to do. We know what Volkan's going to do. We don't know what Johnny Walker is going to do. He's just, he just comes out there reckless and does a lot of different things. He does backflips and all kinds of stuff, flying knees. We don't know what the hell he's going to do out there. And I just think the fact that he's more unpredictable, the fact that he's going to have the height advantage, the crazy reach advantage, he's going to be the younger fighter also by 2 years. He's won more of his fights in the last 5 fights more recently than Ozdemir. Ozdemir losing those 3 fights, not a good look. So I'm going to go with Johnny Walker, man. Who you got, Andy O?
Yeah, this to me comes down to speed. And in the end, I think the speed of Johnny Walker combined with his range and variety of shots is going to be too much for Volkan.
Yeah.
I feel that he has the skills, and the way he used to fight and the way he still does fight sometimes is he can really style on Volkan here. But a part of me thinks he's going to win this fight just trying to play ultra safe and staying away from him. Kind of like he fought against Santos there, if you remember that, in Macheta. Yeah, the threat of Johnny Walker getting knocked out is always there because it says he's been knocked out 5 times, but it's more like 12 times because there was this one fight before he got into the UFC. He got knocked out 5 times in the same fight. I'll never forget it. But here, I think it's just going to be too much for for Volkan here. No matter which way, no matter which way Johnny Walker fights, unless he does something really dumb and walk into a shot or stay in the pocket for too long. On this one, I'm predicting, I'm predicting him to get back on the ball and get a knockout here. So Johnny Walker for the KO.
Nice. We are in agreement for the first fight of the main card. That's good. All right, moving on up the card. Next, we have Mohamed Naimov versus Felipe Lima. Who you got here, Andy O, in this one?
Yeah, so this was the one I didn't research too much, but I'm gonna have to go with Mohamed Naimov here. I think he has more power. I don't think Felipe Lima is the greatest here. Let me see here. Yeah, also Felipe Lima is coming in on short notice, and he will be the one trying to grapple more, I suspect here. But I think Mohamed Naimov is going to be able to keep him off of him. And Naimov is not a poor grappler either, and he has more power, I think, than Felipe Lima. Also, Naimov seems to get away with a lot of stuff in his fights, like cheating nonstop and grabbing the fence and doing this and doing that. And if it goes to decision, I'm thinking judges are going to favor Naimov on top of that. So, yeah, give me Naimov by knockout or decision.
Hey man, you know what they say? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I
I
like that.
guess.
Nice man. Another one that we agree on in the main card. I am definitely going for Mohamed Naimov, man. Mohamed Naimov is amazing. This guy is an absolute beast. He is built like a tank. He is ripped. He is on the sauce for sure. This guy is absolutely a physical specimen. Wait till we see the weigh-ins on that one. I can't wait. He's also going to be 3 inches taller, way bigger than Felipe Lima. He has a 70-inch reach. He's 29 years old to 26, just coming in his prime. Also, Felipe Lima has fought nobody. He fought Jonas Magard, Evgeny Odnorog, Fernando Flores, who is an 8-7 guy, Farbod, Iran, Nezad, all these bums in the lower level events. Whereas Naimov has fought in the UFC already, and he is 3-0 in the UFC. Beat Eric Silva by knockout. Well, actually, it was a leg injury on Eric Silva's. He ended up getting a leg injury there. But he did beat Nathaniel Wood by decision. Nathaniel Wood is very, very good, and he also knocked out Jamie Malarkey in his UFC debut. Prior to that, on Tough Enough, he beat Dylan Shuttle and beat Satik Muduev in Tough Enough. Tough Enough's a good event card, a good event as well. There's a lot of tough guys come out of there. I like this guy from Tajikistan, Tajikistan. Very, very good fighter. This guy is a beast, man. There's no way that this guy coming in at short notice is going to be able to beat Muhammad, man. This fight, if it goes on the feet, he's amazing on the feet. If it goes on the ground, he's good on the ground. He's an overall amazing fighter overall. He can fight in different ways. Out of his 11 wins, we can see here, he has 5 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, 3 by decision. So just an overall fighter, as you can see. There's no way of telling how he'll win. Like he's just very well rounded. And yeah, man, Mohamed Naimov all the way in this one. All right, we are in agreement in the second fight of the main card. Let's move on up to the next fight. We got Kevin Gastelum versus D-Rod or Daniel Rodriguez in this one. Man, I was trying to find a way to go for D-Rod. I like D-Rod. I mean, he's pretty cool. Just I can't see it, man. I kind of want to go for him. It's going to be a tough one, man. Again, when we talk about the betting and stuff like that, I do think he's a good dog, D-Rod here. He's a slight underdog in this one, but I just think Kelvin Gastelum is just the better fighter overall, man. I think Kelvin Gastelum finds a way to get wins. The guy he could do it all. He's decent on the feet. He can scramble. He can grapple if the fight goes down there. And D-Rod rarely uses his grappling. I find in fights he doesn't really try to get many takedowns or get it to the ground. He likes to
He's
keep,
not getting takedowns.
that's it. He likes to keep the fight standing. D-Rod and Kelvin Gastelum has been pretty decent. It's all depends on his shape too. I just hope he doesn't come out. I hope Kelvin Gastelum actually trains and comes out in decent shape. I don't want to see the fat Kelvin Gastelum, as we've seen him sometimes really out of shape in some of his fights. I don't want to see that guy. If he's in shape and he trained hard for this one and he's ready to go, I think he can get the win. I think he can make right here. He's been, he lost 3 out of his last 5 fights, but the last fight that he lost, man, was against Sean Brady, who's a motherfucking tough beast. Sean Brady is tough to beat. He got subbed by him in a Kimura, but he did beat Chris Curtis by unanimous decision, and Chris Curtis is really good. Lost to Jared Cannonier, but we just saw how Cannonier looked. He's a tough guy. He lost to Robert Whittaker, who's also main eventing in this card. So there's no shame there. He beat Ian Heinisch by decision. On the other side, we see that D-Rod lost his last 2 fights. He lost to Ian Machado by knockout and lost to Neil Magny by submission, a Darce choke there. He did beat the Jing Liang Lee. He beat Kevin Lee and Preston Parsons. But, I mean, I just feel like Kevin Gastelum fought the better fighters, too, in this one as well. And I think he's just a better fighter overall. Not to mention he's going to be the younger guy at 32 years old. D-Rod getting up there at 37. D-Rod's packing a nice significant height advantage there, 4-inch height advantage, and a 2.5-inch reach advantage. But I don't think it's going to be enough for Gastelum. I got Gastelum winning this one. I say Gastelum wins by a decision here. I don't think he's going to knock out D-Rod, but I think he can win by decision.
Yeah, both these guys have been shitty lately. I think they both should be out of the UFC. I'm going to lean towards Gastelum. You're better off trying to get Gastelum down these days and beat him up a little on the ground because he doesn't have any heart anymore, I don't think. And you couldn't pay Daniel Rodriguez to try and take anyone down. For a guy that relies on his great boxing, the way Ian Gary knocked the shit out of him last time, I don't know what that's going to do for his confidence. And that was like over a year ago or whatever, the last time we saw him.
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys, who's more washed? I don't know. Probably D-Rod because he's a little older. Give me Gastelum here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gastelum fought 6 months ago, and D-Rod fought a year and a month ago. So
Yeah, so I don't know. Give me Gastelum because I don't know. I think he has a little more than D-Rod does these days. And D-Rod too, he came in terribly out of shape not that long ago for one of his fights. So let's hope they both come in half decent shape and try to put on a good show.
all right, we are in agreement so far in all of the fights in the main card so far. Looking good. All right, moving on up next, we got Sergey Pavlovich against Alexander Volkov. This is a tough one.
Yeah, so yeah, this one here, we got Pavlovich 18-2 against Alexander Volkov 37-10. Don't forget, this is also like the juiced up bigger version of Volkov, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to withstand Pavlovich's insanity and power early in this fight. Like that's all he does when he wins is like knock people out early and almost everybody, right? And Volkov is usually good against guys who won't bother or can't take him down. Like Pavlovich, not only will he not take people down, but he doesn't even have a wide variety of strikes, at least in terms of anything other than the head. All his shots are to the head. So, and he still knocks people out, no questions asked, right? Um, I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to lean with I'm gonna have to go with Sergey Pavlovich here. I think he bounces back off his last defeat. And it's too bad because overall I think Volkov is the better MMA fighter overall, pretty much everywhere. And it's the heavyweight division. Sometimes that doesn't really matter. So give me Pavlovich by knockout early.
Alrighty, man. Yes, again, we are in agreement, man. I also have Sergey Pavlovich to win here, man. But again, not very, very confident in it. Let me tell you. Both these guys are really good. They both lost to Tom Aspinall in their last five fights. That's a common denominator there.
Hmm.
Um, we can see here that his last win was against Curtis Blades. I like the fact that Curtis Blades is a wrestler and a grappler, and he was able to beat him. He was able to catch him and get the knockout with actually, it was a punches to ground and pound, actually, in that one. He did knock out Tai Tuivasa, who's also a very strong, powerful puncher. He did knock out Derek Lewis, another powerful guy, and he also knocked out Shamil Abdurakhimov. On the other hand, we've got also Volkan, who did beat Tai Tuivasa, except he got a submission on him. He beat Alexander Romanov, that fat fuck, knocked him out. He did knock out Jerzino Rosenstruck, lost to Tom Aspinall, as I mentioned, and he did get a decision against Marcin Tybura. So yeah, I just like the power in Pavlovich, man. That's what it is. It's the power that's going to give him the advantage here.
No, not only that, the reach advantage.
Yes, he's packing a 4-inch reach advantage there. He is going to be 4 inches shorter. But the way Volkan fights, he likes to come at you and he likes to march forward and come at you. So if he's going to be the aggressor, I think Pavlovich is going to be able to stand in the pocket and just fucking land a nice fucking serious punch or a couple of punches on him at range. If he can stay at a decent range there with that 4-inch reach advantage, I think he could clip him and get the knockout in the first round. So I'm going to go with Pavlovich, knockout in the first round. I do think that Volkan is a live dog, though. We'll talk about that on Friday on the bets. But yeah, man, the pick is going to be Pavlovich by KO, man. All right. Coming up to the main event now of the evening here. Robert Whittaker against Ikram Aliskerov. I am also very torn on this one, man. I think that this one is another one too that I said, like, for the betting, you might want to have some money on each guy here, but I'm gonna go with man. It's really tough. I was leaning towards Ikram because of the grappling, but then again, Robert Whittaker's good at stuffing the takedowns. Uh, but I mean, I think Ikram has a better he's got better jujitsu than Robert Whittaker. Ikram, out of his 15 wins, okay, let's just go over this quickly. He beat Warley Alves by knockout with a flying knee and punches. He knocked out Phil Hawes. He subbed Mario Sousa. And then after that, he beat a couple of guys in the lower level fights. But then again, on Whittaker's side, he lost 2 out of his last 5. He did beat Paulo Costa by unanimous decision, lost to Dricus du Plessis by knockout. He beat Marvin Vittori, lost to Israel Adesanya, and he beat Kelvin Gastelum, who we just talked about there. So, man, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
Well, that's why you put in the work. Who's the win? Who's the winner?
You know what, man? My pick might change by the end of this week, but I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Ikram Aliskerov. I just think that he's gonna be just a bit more dangerous with the submission threats. He's also younger, a couple of years younger. He's been on a winning streak. Robert Whittaker lost a couple. He's gonna have a 2.5-inch reach advantage there. Younger guy, Russian Dagestani guy, very good on grappling and takedowns. I think that Whittaker might be able to fend off a couple of takedowns, but he is going to get taken down at some point. Whittaker not the best from his back. So yeah, I think Aliskerov could sneak in a submission there and get the win by sub or decision. I don't think he'll knock out Whittaker, but I think he could sneak in a sub or a decision. I'm going for Aliskerov, but not confident in it. I might end up changing my pick by the end of this week, but for now it's going to be Aliskerov, man. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take Aliskerov as well.
Oh, wow.
Initially, I was going to take Whittaker, but then I flipped to Aliskerov. I think if he can roughly follow the blueprint of DDP and like just out muscle him and rough him up, like he could win this fight. And let's not forget, like this is a different level of grappling than Whittaker probably ever faced,
Mm-hmm.
even though Whittaker has been fighting the best of the best for years now, right? Like sometimes guys come up that have fought almost nobody, like this guy. This guy's fought nobodies, but you can tell that the guy is like the real deal, you know? And this is probably one of those cases. And you got to give him props for fighting in this high profile fight against a guy like Whittaker, right? Like it's almost a no-win situation. Like, he doesn't deserve the fight. And then on the other side, it's you know, don't give him the fight. So look, very close fight. Whittaker, you know, we all love Whittaker, very agile, um, very quick. He's very crisp and fluid. But I think if like Ikram's a big, strong guy, you know, he should be able to overpower Whittaker, and along with the grappling, that should be enough to get the win. Let's call decision for Aliskerov, but it's by a thin margin.
All right, man, this is beautiful. We are in agreement in all of the fights in the main card.
Wow.
Man, if you guys look back at our prelims video, we did not agree on a lot of fights at all, but in this one, we are in agreement in all of the main card fights. So that's a good way. That's a good thing to see. Um, yeah, man, I think Aliskerov, I think he sneaks in a submission there. Let's just take a quick look at at Ikram's way of victories here. Out of his 15 wins, he does have 6 knockouts. He has 5 submissions and 3 decisions. And on the Whittaker side, out of Whittaker's 25 wins, what does he have? He has 9 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 11 decisions. So the majority of his fights he wins are by decision. He has been subbed once though, been knocked out 3 times, and lost 3 losses to decision as well. So the subber decision I think is good there. I don't think he'll knock out Whittaker, but
I
it's
think
possible on a ground and pound though.
yeah, I think it is possible because Whittaker is getting kind of chinny. I don't know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Uh, Nonetheless, this is going to be a banger of a fight. Can't wait to see it.
Can't wait for this event. It's, you know, with all the cancellations, it's actually shaping up pretty nicely.
Yeah, yeah. We've got 11 fights in this one. If there's any changes, you know, us here at KAMMA, we stay up to date. We give you guys the up to date predictions here. So we'll let you guys know on Friday if there's any changes throughout the week. So there you have it, folks. Our main card early predictions. Like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And stay tuned on Friday for our final predictions and our official bets.
Have a good night.